Now, UKIP, the party that sowed the seeds for what would ultimately become Brexit, has elected its first woman leader in the form of broadcaster and campaigner Lois Perry. The party's eighth leader since Nigel Farage won by more than three-quarters of the vote as she replaces the formidable Neil Hamilton. And in a Mark Dolan Tonight exclusive, Lois Perry joins me now. Lois, congratulations on your excellent win.
Well, thank you.
You're now the leader of the National Party, which means you've got to give up your Saturday nights to talk politics.
No, well, I can think of nothing that I'd rather do more. So thank you for having me. And you had me when I was a leadership contender.
Yep.
And here I am. And I am so excited. I really, really am. We're going to make UKIP new KIP, and we're going to make Britain great again, and we're going to mop up all of those disaffected red wall voters. They don't want to go to Labour, Mark. They don't want necessarily to go to the other party, which is the insurgent party of protest.
Right. Reform UK, perhaps?
Possibly, because maybe they... Look, I'm going to be very careful with my words here. If Nigel Farage, my friend, was leader, yeah, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be sitting here. If he was the leader of Reform UK, there'd be no need for me and for what I'm doing. But there really, really is, because a relatable leader, someone that can connect with disaffected Tories and disaffected Labour voters, is very, very, very much needed.
So you feel that the current lack of dynamic leadership at the top of Reform UK is therefore creating a sort of gap in the market that you're seeking to fill? Absolutely.
And I mean, I've spoken to young people who've told me that they don't want to vote Tory, they don't want to vote Labour. They really wanted to vote Reform. They really, really did. But the hope not hate stuff, capitulating to communist bullies, they weren't very impressed with that.
So
they want to come home to UK. You're
impressed with Nigel Farage, and he's a friend of yours, but I would sort of read between the lines and suggest you're sceptical about Richard Tice. His approach as leader, or actually his policies?
OK, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background, OK? So basically, I was brought up by my maternal grandparents. My father left my sister and I, and my mum needed some support, yeah? My granddad owned an electronics factory, yeah? He employed over 100 staff. My dad's mum worked on a production line in an electronics factory, putting plugs together, OK? I understand what it's like firsthand to be entrepreneurial, the pitfalls, the slings and arrows of having your own business, but also how bloody hard it is to be working class. I have experience of both. I've been the lady of the house in a fully staffed mansion, and I've lived in social housing. I've had dinner with kings and princes and politicians, but I've also only had a tenner to put petrol in the car.
Sounds like an exhausting day.
It is an exhausting day, but I'm not saying that you
what's this got to do with Richard Tice?
I'm just saying you do not have to be the living embodiment of the Rudyard Kipling poem, you know, to actually be a good leader. But it does help if you have experience of real life on both sides, and people relate to it. Not always. Boris Johnson, Winston Churchill are notable exceptions, but I just feel that people want to come home to UKIP. I know they do, because I talk to people all the time.
So what is UKIP for? Essentially, it sowed the seeds for Brexit, and we're now out.
Absolutely.
So hasn't its main function disappeared?
Well, no, absolutely not, because we need independence from various things. We need to be energy independent. We need to be self-sufficient with our food. We need to be independent and be able to have our values. I always say that UKIP now, has always been, but especially now, is about values. So whereas in the past there's been some stuff that we've put behind us, this is a fresh start. OK?
What do you want to put behind you?
I think that there was some times in the past where you had people that were on the extreme right that infiltrated the party. They were got rid of, and we've had brilliant leadership. He steadied the ship in the last few years. But
so you want to get rid of the sort of the racists and the swivel-eyed loons?
Well, the thing is,
the nut jobs,
the thing is, those far-right people are already saying, oh, they've got a woke leader in, she's politically correct, she's this, because I said there's no place for racism or anti-Semitism in any party.
You're getting rid of the numpties, the window lickers.
There's no window lickers in UKIP, I can assure you. But it's about values. It really, really is. So values. So that's democracy, freedom of speech. It's about king and country. It's about being personally autonomous, personally responsible. It's about all of those things. If you share our values, it doesn't matter what religion you are or background. You are welcome in UKIP, and we will fight for you.
Hear you. If you've got UKIP versus Reform and some of the other smaller parties, isn't the right consuming itself? I mean, wouldn't the best thing for you to do to go and have a boozy lunch with Richard Tice, sort out your differences?
He's not interested in collaborating. Well, I mean, look at Meloni. She basically
Italian Prime Minister.
Absolutely, she was doing. She's
like an Italian Lois Perry, if anyone's watching.
Well, quite, yeah. I'm a little bit thinner. Anyway, but you know, she was doing okay, but not that great. And then she thought, right, we need to collaborate. We need to work with the other parties. Yeah. We are open to working with other parties on. Even Labour or the Tories or Reform, or when they share our values, and we will not put candidates up against people that share our values. That would be totally counterproductive to do that. Yeah. So, but not everyone wants to collaborate or work together.
And can we go rapid fire now, just a few seconds?
Go on.
You want to be the enemy of uncontrolled mass immigration.
Yes.
We certainly need to stop the boats. I think most people think that.
Yeah.
What's an appropriate number for legal net migration annually?
Well, I think that the boats are a little bit smoke and mirrors, actually, to be honest. I think that we need to look at the no-go areas and the imported conflicts that we've brought in that are already in the United Kingdom.
All right.
And we'd use specialist task forces, police task forces.
OK, so you would stop the boats, but what about legal net migration? I mean, you're already a politician, not answering the question. I tell you. What's a good figure?
I think that we should have a cap, but we're in the process of actually working out our policies on everything. I've been in the post 3 days.
So you're working on a figure that will be negotiated.
Absolutely.
A couple of other quick ones. You will be the enemy of the woke mind virus.
Yes, we will. So that's the whole gender nonsense. That's all of the playing.
Is that anti-trans?
No, not at all. Not for adults, but they shouldn't be allowed into women's spaces. Absolutely,
women's sport.
Absolutely, but with children, leave those kids alone.
Okay, and last thing, is UKIP Islamophobic?
No, not at all. Muslims, anyone who shares our values of democracy, free speech, king and country, patriotism, the rule of law, are welcome in the party. But radical Islamism or radical forms of any religion, actually, no. No, no, no.
Lois Perry, thank you for coming and seeing us. Congratulations on the job, which I'm sure you'll do in a very energetic and entertaining way.
Thank you very much.
And have a great election. I do hope you'll be a key contributor to Mark Dolan tonight in the months ahead.
I'd love that.